Today we're going to be making a quick and dirty quinoa salad, Greek quinoa kind of theme. You're going to need about half a cup of quinoa, just plain quinoa. It can be any color. We're using white tonight. You need about 2 cups of water. Dump the quinoa right in there. You're going to start it boiling for about 5 minutes. Then you're going to let it simmer till the water's gone, probably about 15 minutes, but you may want to check it every now and then. We're also going to chop up a cucumber, some cherry tomatoes. We're going to add some feta cheese. If you like, I like to add some Kalamata olives in there, about a 1/4 cup. My husband hates olives, so we won't be using those tonight. But they're good if you like them. We're going to make our dressing too. So our quinoa is now in simmer mode, and I will go in there every now and then and scrape the extra quinoa off the sides as it boils. Some of it gets stuck around the sides, and I try and get all of the quinoa grains that I can. You're going to want to get a rather large bowl so that you can combine everything. I've got about a cup of cucumber here, and that goes right in. And again, try not to leave anything behind. Try and use it all. And we've chopped our cherry tomatoes in half. Again, it's about a cup of them. I just cut them all in half. Those go in there. If you do this twice in a row, you'll do half the container usually one at one time and half at the other. Then you got a 1/4 cup of just feta cheese crumbles, and that goes in there. Still waiting for the quinoa to be done, and you may want to let it cool a little bit. As you can see, this is almost done. There's still a little water in, so we're going to let it go a little bit longer. But you may want to let it cool a little bit just so it doesn't melt the cheese. If I'm in a hurry though, I will throw it all in and then throw it all in the fridge, and it's turned out fine. But we're going to make our dressing while we wait for that. So you just set that to the side. For your dressing, I like to use white wine. This is wine in a can. It's really cool. Balsamic vinegar. You can use olive oil instead of both of those things if you want. I prefer to avoid oils as much as I can. It's not great for your arteries and it adds calories, so when I can I substitute out. But you can use any kind of oil in a pinch. So I'm going to do about 1/8 of a cup of dry white wine, and then another 1/8 of a cup of balsamic. If you were to replace those with oil, you would just do a 1/4 of a cup of whatever oil you like. And then I'm going to do 3 tablespoons about of the red wine vinegar. I just throw it right in the measuring cup, because why get another dish dirty that I have to clean up in a second? And then just a teaspoon of oregano. Mix that up. And then once the quinoa is ready, we just combine it all. So our quinoa is now done. I have set it over here off the heat to cool, and I am going to add another element that I mean, it's not required, but I like it a lot better, and I almost always forget to add it, so I'm adding it now. Tofu. So I'm going to heat up a pan here. This is extra firm tofu that I have just pulled out of the package and drained, and I'm just going to cube it. As you can see, it's not that hard. Just flip it around. If you are an omnivore and you hate tofu, you can do this with chicken also, and I think it makes a nice addition to the Greek quinoa. And I'm just going to dump some more of our white wine in here. Get our heat a little higher. And then we're just going to dump our tofu in here. I try and break up the cubes as I throw it in. Without burning myself. I personally kind of like tofu, and I wasn't always a pescatarian, but as long as you're not trying to pretend it's meat, it's got a decent flavor, I think. And I like the sponginess. You can also add like mushrooms if you like. Again, my husband hates mushrooms, so I never get to add it in anything. But And tofu's kind of great in that it kind of takes on a lot of the flavor of whatever you're cooking it in. So I've got it in the white wine right now. When my husband does it, he plays with it and he adds like some spices and stuff like that. And I'm basically just gonna cook this a little until the heat is absorbed. The heat is absorbed, I said that. The wine is a little more absorbed. While that's going on, our quinoa is pretty cool. I like to use a big spoon because I can use the same spoon to serve. And I find that it mixes things up a little better. It's not that cold, but it's fine. It's not boiling hot. So I can take and mix these guys up while the tofu's going. So you can see it's starting to heat up a little. And I can take our dressing that we made earlier, get the oregano to settle a little more, and slosh that all in here as well. All in that big bowl. And then we're just doing our tofu. Once the tofu's done, we'll combine it all and then portion it out. All right, so we've got our tofu in here now. I just dumped it in. Obviously, drain off any extra liquid first before you mix it in. Stirred it all up, and now I'm just gonna portion it out. We do 6 portions generally, and it lasts us, we have, you know, a meal each for the week. If these are not big enough for you for lunches, you could always do like 4. But 6 usually works for us. I do have 6 of these little things that are the same size. And when the stars align and all 6 of them are clean when I make this, it's a really fun time for me, but normally I have to use one odd one. The great thing about this salad is you can eat it cold, like straight out of where it is, but if you're running around a lot, like I often am, and you have to bike around with it in the back of your bag for, you know, a few hours, and it ends up being like not so chilled by the time you get to it, it's still okay. And obviously you're not gonna like leave it in the sun all day or something like that. But what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be chilled, it doesn't have to be warm, and because there's not any meat in it, or anything that's going to spoil really. It's got the cheese, but there's not much of it. You'll be pretty fine eating it at whatever temperature it happens to be at, and it's still good. And that is it, quick and dirty quinoa salad. Add your own stuff to it as well. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.